Good morning. We were having technical difficulties again, uh, going live. The thing just spins and spins and spins, but doesn't actually start. So sorry for the lateness this morning. We are on day 29, and this is I'm kind of excited to talk about this today because we're talking about hurts that need healing, and it is the journal entry today is what bitter roots have you created in your heart? What past hurts have calloused your heart? And then you're going to pray and ask God to reveal those hearts that need healing. And the Bible verse is be alert and of sober mind. Your enemy, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion looking for someone to devour. 1 Peter 5:8. Okay, I think one of the reasons I like this is because, I've always, my go to verse has always been, search my heart. And that has been what has kept me going is the healing of my own heart. And sometimes, when you get in such a space of that you have all these hurts and you stay inner focused on those hurts and you can't seem to get out of it. And so you keep repeating the same patterns in life. But once I started to actually go in and heal those things and realize that God is so loving and trusting and he does care and he wants those hurts to be healed and it's not his fault that these things happen. Once I started to really realize that and put more and more trust and faith in God, then I was able to go in and do all this like inner healing work. And God also, he's so good. He gives us like these pictures. So we're going to kind of talk about this and we're going to relate it to like gardening. If you ever do any kind of gardening, and I hate gardening. I'm not a plant person. I love plants. I just don't want to like be the one to pick them out and plant them and take care of them to make them flourish because that's not my thing. Um, Fortunately, I moved into this house and they already planted these beautiful flowering plants, which I love flowers. And so I have this color in the front when you walk up to my house instead of those basic like bushes that you just kind of trim up. I'm like, what is the point in that? But I got flowers, so God just like totally blessed me with that, and they're easy to take care of, so easy. Um, yeah. Anyway, that was a whole nother tangent. Okay, so let's talk about this. All right, think about like when you go to pull weeds out and the ground is hard. It's it's difficult because you can't get to the whole like you can't get the whole root out. You can get part of it. So like you pull the weed out and you see that it broke off and you're like, okay, I'm gonna have to do this again because those roots are still there. And those roots go deep and it's like even though you pull all this out, it's still alive. It's like, nah, I'm coming back, that weed, and it just gets harder and harder to get rid of that weed. You have to actually go all the way down and pull out that root so that way it stops growing. That's the same thing with the bitter roots in our heart. If we don't get all the way down to the nitty gritty of that seed, the why it started to begin with, it's just going to stay there. It may be hidden for a while. You may not realize it's there for a while, but it's still there. And then all of a sudden it starts growing, growing, growing again. And voila, there you are in this like anger, depression, grief, whatever spirals from this deep root. And so that's one thing. And then if you look, okay, the calloused heart. Okay, so look at it this way. God is always talking about softening our heart, soften our heart. Well, what does a callus do? When I was a kid, I loved to play on the monkey bars. It was one of my most favorite things to do. Well, from that, on these parts of my hand were calloused because I just rubbed and rubbed and rubbed on those um, metal bars every day. I loved it. And so I would get these major calluses on my hands. Same thing like if you do like a lot of gardening, those tools, your hands get calloused. And people who play guitar, they develop these calluses on their fingers. So you could get calluses for different reasons, but it's because, it's that hard, hard, hard skin. Okay. So if you're callousing your heart, so think of like, your heart's this muscle that's pumping, keeping you alive. But if you continue to have these hardened spots on your heart, how well is it able to pump? It gets harder and harder to pump because it's not soft anymore. It's got these calluses that are keeping it from pumping. And so when you harden your heart, when you allow these bitter roots to stay and create these calluses, it gets harder and harder and harder. And then you become more closed and all of the negative emotions. And so that's, God's wanting you to soften your heart. That's what that is. You've got to get rid of the calluses. What are those wounds and hurts that you have kept a hold of? And then you know what happens when you break off a callus. Whoo, it's like you got raw skin. It hurts, it's raw and you got to start all over again. And so getting rid of those calluses, it's going to hurt a little bit, but then it heals and you got this awesome smooth skin now. Like I don't have calluses, I have smooth skin. And so God just is calling us to just heal. He wants you to heal from those things. Like I don't have scars from the calluses, so they don't leave scars. They're not still there. It's like God just renews you wholly and completely. So take the time today to really look and get to the root cause of what is keeping you from having that peace, having that joy, having, there are, and the thing is some of these hurts, these things were done to you. You didn't do anything wrong, but something happened to you. And you're still having trauma from that, anxiety from that and stuff. And so you may need to talk to a professional to help you walk through that. I have some people that can help you walk through that. I know some people that are licensed and certified in heart healing and stuff like that. So if that is something you need, please, please, please send me a message, a private direct message on Facebook here, and I will help connect you, or you and I can just have a conversation and see what that is and then how I can best help you. So yeah, get that healing, get to that space of what is keeping you from healing from these things. And then when you look at the Bible verse, be alert and of sober mind. And the reason I picked this verse to go with this is because if we're not alert and of sober mind, if we are distracting ourselves with something because we don't want to feel the hurt, then we're just prolonging the process and we're adding more hurt to the bitterness, and the calluses are just going to continue to grow because we're just adding to it. And so I love this of sober mind because for me, sometimes drinking, just a couple of drinks, not drunk or anything, but just enough to just kind of relax because I don't want to think about the stuff. I just want to be like, okay, I'm just, yeah, let's just set that aside, whatever. But that's where the enemy, it says, your enemy, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion looking for someone to devour. He's waiting for me to get in that space because that's when he goes in and he attacks even more, which keeps me in the same pattern. And so I'm not really looking inward because it's hard. It hurts. Lots of tears. And I actually just did this a few days ago with my friend, who is someone that I would recommend to you. But she helped me walk through another like bitter root, and I was able to pull it out. And it's like um, someone just asking you another question, another question, another question, and it just keeps getting deeper and deeper and deeper. And so as you're taking this time to journal and write this out, just keep going deeper and deeper and deeper to where you get to that, like the moment that happened, it started. And God will walk you through that gently and easily and everything else. And so once you get through that healing, then there you go. Because again, remember, we are retraining our brain, we're rewiring our thinking patterns. So if we can get rid of these hurts and these heart, like calluses in our heart, then our thinking won't go there. Or if it does start to go there, we can go, wait a minute, like I had healing in that. And because you're alert and of sober mind, you recognize it right away and you can be like, no, I don't believe those lies anymore. Like that's done. And so you get to that space of like, yeah, and you just keep moving forward and you don't get stuck. You don't have those moments, those days where you're just like, I just want to check out. I just want to, I'm going to put on my stretchy pants, sit on the couch, and just chill, scroll, watch. Everything is inward focused and stuff. It's like, no, we want to be alert, sober mind, because we're not going to allow those hurts to keep us from moving forward, keep us from that healing, because that stuff is what keeps us from relationship. I mean, think about everything I just said of what you're doing. You are isolating, you are staying to yourself, and you want to be in relationship with people. So do the heart work, do the healing. And like I said, if you need someone to help you walk through that, I'm here to help you walk through that. I got other people that are better than me at this that I can connect you with, Um, so yeah, don't stay in that space. It's time to just release those things and get to that little stupid root. And you know how exciting it is when you're finally get the whole root out, when you pull that, the weed out, and you're like, yes. And what happens is when the ground is hard, it's harder to pull those weeds, isn't it? That's the thing. If your heart is calloused and it's hard, it's going to be harder to pull those weeds. It's going to the root. It's going to be harder. But you can do it. And God wants you to do it. He wants you to have that freedom. He wants your thinking to be in alignment with Him always. He wants you thinking of like Philippians 4:8, whatever is pure, whatever is noble, that's where He wants us. Whatever is lovely, whatever is praiseworthy, that's where He wants you each and every day. So take the time, do the stuff. If you need help, please, please, please send me a message and I will connect you. I would happy to do a 30-minute call with you to just see where you're at and next steps, because God doesn't want you there. All right. And the devil is waiting to prowl. The devil doesn't sleep. Why would he sleep? He don't need to sleep. He doesn't need nourishment. He doesn't need anything. He's just literally going around messing with people. That's how he gets his joy. That's his one goal, is to take you down. So we need to be alert and of sober mind, and let's do that heart work. All right. I'm encouraging you. Please reach out. Love to help you. Let's get rid of the bitter roots. Let's not stay there anymore.